feel something. At last!
Yo, what's up everyone? It's Doovie again, and in this video I want to talk about the expedition mechanic. I think the expedition mechanic in maps are actually pretty worth your time if you know which ones you want to go for and which NPC does what kind of mechanic and where the currency lies. So once you open your expedition locker, you can see you have a lot of different artifacts, which is actually the currency that you use for all the 4 NPCs. They all represent the NPCs which you can pay these artifacts for. So, for example, you have the Broken Circle artifact. This is for gambling with the lady. You have the Black Scythe artifact. That is for haggling. Then you have the Order artifact. That's for crafting the weapons that you can get. And you have the Grand Sun artifact. That's for trading, actually. I think this one's pretty important. This is for trading and swapping out your currencies. I'm going to show you that one first.
I'm not welcome.
Once you go to Danik, the warrior scald, you can actually exchange items here. And this is a nice addition that GG made. You can see how many of the artifacts you have. And as you can see here, it goes in order, right? You have lesser, common, greater, grand. Also goes in that order for certain item rarities. If you want to buy a headhunter, for example, it's gonna cost like the grander kind of currency. In the exchange with what was his name, Danik, you can exchange your currency that you don't want to use for other currency, and it's specifically the sun artifacts, right? So you can trade your lesser sun for any of the other 3 NPC artifacts here. You can also buy, which is also really important, you can also buy the roll currencies. Astrogali is for the Astrogali is, I think, for
Farewell. Need something?
Gamble chick. You can gamble, but if you want a specific window for gamble, haggle, or the crafting to get rolled in a new one, these actually stay. Even if you leave the map, even if you go somewhere else, it only rolls after you use a roll currency. So for this guy, it is the scrap metal. For this, it is the Astrogali. And for this guy, it's the coins, the exotic coinage. So keep that in mind. It's also for Danik, it's the Bureau Medallion. These are actually the most important which you want. You want to get those and
farewell.
Get some new items, right? If you're done with this window, for example, and you want to see a new window, you can re-roll and get other ones. So in order of which ones I think are the most important, I think the least important or the least valuable one, the least profitable one is, I think, so far the Gambler.
Need something?
Haven't gotten anything good out of it. Maybe if you want to go for specific uniques, you have a trick. I think maybe they have hotfixed that already. You had a trick where you made new characters, and you could get simple ropes in Act 1, and with the new characters, it actually does give you a new window every time. So you can get simple ropes there and then just buy them out from a new character. But I think the Gambler is so far the least impactful, the least impressive to me. And I think the Dealer is actually pretty decent. You can make some really cool items with him. But it's also pretty pricey usually. So you're gonna have to use a lot of artifacts on this guy. And I think the other ones are just a little bit better.
I'm not up to that.
So Danik, I think, is one of the best. Because you can get the expedition logbooks here from him, you're gonna have to pay a lot of these Grand Sun artifacts to him to get a logbook. The logbook skills, which are level. So as you can see, then this was rolled at around level 80 that I was, and that's why the area level and item level is level 80. So keep that in mind. It's going to be around your level and not anything else. Then think the Haggler so far has been the most impactful one. The amount of currency that you get from this guy is pretty insane. Look at this. I have a tier 15 map here waiting for me. Why? Because I rolled this at level 82. That's why the item level of the map is 82. So keep that in mind. You can get some really crazy items because it scales in that way. And that's why I think the rolls you can buy from Danik is also really important. Here it's now offering an Astrogali, but if you want to reroll the Haggler, you need the coinage, right? So these ones are very important. Then I will also show you a little bit how the mechanic works in the maps. Go in the map, I have one waiting here. If you have an expedition encounter in the map, you can actually press V, or you can press the explosive placement toggle button here. But I like to just go with V. And as you can see all the notables on your map. And remember that some of these notables will show immune to a certain type of damage, right? Keep in mind, this will always be yellow. So once you're going over, you're mapping, you're blasting, you're just running. I mean, that's not going to be as fast as it used to be, but you want to check real quick. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Oh, this is yellow. Physical damage. Well, I can do that with my ice trap, so that doesn't matter that much for me. But then you want to start somewhere at a certain point and just go in a circle and try to get all of the notables, right? It starts off from the detonator, and it has to actually be in range, in a certain range of the detonator. For example, here you can see my mouse is moving this way, but it's not moving further than that. Same for here, it has to be in range. And then, after you've placed your first one, so these are also like notable chests, the red ones, so I want those as well. Start here, I go here. Sometimes you can put them like close to each other. So this is the last one that I placed right here. I'm probably gonna reach this. Yeah, I can reach this. But as you can see, if I drag further, it's not gonna reach any further than that it's reaching now. So I'll just click here. And it's pretty well set up. I'll do this one.
I'm not up to
And then I
that
actually
just yet.
don't have this one. So maybe I can do it better. Then you can do placements like this. Let me think. I'll just skip this one. So when you're in a map, you're probably not gonna think that much about it. You just go like this, you just go like this. And then keep the pace up, you know, when you're mapping. You usually want to go fast, right? So, see, we only missed one here. So you detonate it, and it just goes off. Kill all the mobs that come out. The chests start to pop up, the activated chests. The rare monsters sometimes drop your artifacts, currencies. And that's also what you should keep in mind. So this is rock, right? You're encountering rock in this map. So rock always asks for the order artifacts. So if you have an order, or if you have a rock encounter in your map, it's always going to drop order artifacts. So that's how you can also, you know, maybe go for specific artifacts that you want or don't want. Like I said, I think the gamble lady is not too profitable. But once I see that she's there, I usually just skip it, because then it's not really worth my time, and I just want artifacts, usually from the Haggler or Danik, and you can keep checking it. This is the Sun artifact, and these are the Scythe artifacts. So yeah, I hope I covered a little bit of the expedition mechanics so far. I will be doing these maps later. Keep in mind that they are going to buff the drops a little bit. So if you have these are not really that hard to clear so far. The lower level ones, but the higher level ones will definitely be hard. You have, I think it's a pretty cool mechanic. It's kind of like the the grand heists with a little bit more fun and a little bit more interactive by placing your bombs, spawning the monsters in that way. But I'll probably cover this when this gets buffed. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the build as well, because Ice Trap has been working out really well for me. I've been quite lucky. I've managed to grab a Tinker Skin for 1x. I dropped a 1x alt quite luckily before I started mapping. So I invested that in a Tinker Skin. I got 20C. Actually, a lot of the chaos comes from the Haggler, but also from some rare items that I'm just dumping here. Selling it for a few chaos. If it doesn't sell, I'll put the price lower and lower and lower. That's how I price my rare items. And there you see I got a trade. I'll let them wait a little bit. And the build has been going great. I've also got the Architect's Hands. This one's the biggest one, I think. This thing costs around 3x, but if you're lucky with your alpha missions, you can actually get this in the trap room. I don't know what it's called, but you want a trap room on tier 3, open the alpha temple, kill the mobs, and hopefully get this out of the chest. I don't think the map or the loot pool is too big for that chest, but first of all, when you're in lower tier maps, it's going to be hard to farm alpha. Second of all, it's not always guaranteed to get the trap room. Third of all, you have to get the trap room tier 3. And fourth of all, you have to get this drop out of the chest. So even though it is farmable, right, it is still quite dependent on luck. But yeah, I got quite lucky and got it on the first try. I think it was the second alpha temple that I got. I got the trap room on tier 3. And yeah, there you go. Architect's Hand. I think the build so far has been really smooth. Does a lot of damage. The bossing has been fine. And I'll be blasting through tiers of maps and hopefully hit red tier maps tonight. Maybe somewhere around tier 14, hopefully 16. Some higher awakened level than this so far. It's not been progressing that well. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.